All right, we'll see how this comes out. This is a XK100 helicopter that I took apart. See, XK100. It flies pretty good. I crashed it a bunch of times. I just wanted to make sure it was still straight. So the way we can check that is with a battery. And I'm just going to take you right through this video. There's going to be no cuts. And I hope it comes out. And we'll see what happens here. We're going to turn the transmitter on. We're going to plug it in. And we're going to let it do its little thing. You see the servos move nicely. And we're going to rev it up. And if you take a look at that shaft spins nice and straight. No vibration. Tail rotor cranks along happily. It's just rattling like that because everything is loose here, but there's no bend here. That's what I was going for. This is the feathering shaft. Whoop, that sort of went somewhere. I don't know what the heck that was. Well, that was the little screw that was attached to the feathering shaft. Those things are small. So just, this is fine. This actually rolls like that across the granite table. And the granite table, I'm gonna be reasonably assured that it's flat. This is pretty flat too. You don't see any obvious bends in that. That's gonna be straight and straight off. Now the reason I'm checking all this is because I crashed it a couple of times, like I said, and what do you call it? We're just gonna make sure everything is hunky-dory before we put it all back together. And I'll just take you through the assembly process. Shouldn't be too bad. I mean, it's the first time I took it apart, so we'll see how easy it goes back together. Get a little oil on the bearing because it's a little bit gritty, and just wipe that off. And let's smooth it out a little bit. That's not too bad. I don't think I need to go through the rest of the grips here. This is bearings on the grips. I could see if I can get them out with any kind of ease, and then we'll just give them a little oil. Actually, this one's pretty good. Do it anyway. And I don't have to worry about getting dirt in these or anything because they're pretty clean. So there's that, there's that. Take the other grip out quick. And the way you get these out, you kind of just poke the feathering shaft through and you poke the bearing out. And that comes right out. There goes one. Yeah, poke the other one out. I got a camera on my head, so I can't really get in there to look at these too readily. But that it's turning nicely. Let's put a tiny little drop on there. Actually, there's nothing in there. Huh. That makes me wonder where the hell the other bearing went. Oh, there it is. Okay. So we got them all out. That was the other bearing. We'll just put a little drop on here. We don't have to actually pull it. I don't hope you could see all this, but just throwing a little oil in the bearings. That's all. And that's smooth enough. Good, 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 good. This is that Labelle's 107 medium. Let's hopefully get it soaked in there a little bit. So let's put this bearing back in here. That just gets pressed into the end of the grip. These will go, well, this one will go back in here. And the other one is this one. So this we just line up. We put it in the back. We'll put this one in the front. And use the other bearing to kind of press it in. There you go. That's pressed, sorta. And the screw will hold the whole thing down from this side, or either side, but I mean this will go through that side. All right, so now you got 3 bearings in and the 1 bearing on the shaft. So what we're gonna do is, I don't know, let's see what we're gonna do. These here are your I say like little this is what would be thrust bearings on a larger helicopter, and these guys are they're basically bushings, which is fine on this scale. So this here is going to go first through the grip with no bearing in it, which is this one, and we're going to put that through here. Get in now. I'm going to pull through a little, and then the cones go the outside. So the cone goes that way, if you can see that. Then the bushing, which appears to be symmetrical, bushing symmetrical, and that goes over next. Then you pull the shaft out a little bit, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this without putting the head back on, but I took it off with the head attached, so let's put the head on first. So the head basically goes on and you align the little hole. And I'm sorry if you're coming out of frame, but I can't see that close. I mean, I can't see that far, so I gotta get a little closer sometimes to put these screws in. So this here is they call it the Jesus bolt because it falls out. Oh Jesus, that's the end. But it's actually a self-tapping screw. So what I'm going to do is kind of clean it up a little bit because there's little bits of plastic on it. So you just kind of put in your fingers and pull that plastic off. And that cleans it up a little bit. So that goes somewhere. I don't think, oh, maybe it does matter. Oh yeah, it kind of sort of goes through one side. Like one side will be loose, and that's this side, and then this side is going to have the threads that the screw cut. So you go through the loose side, and then you thread it into the side that's cut. So it'll be going in that way, and then we're just going to line the hole again from that way, and just remember it's from this side. And you can hold the gear and line up the hole, and that'll turn the shaft while you hold the head. Now you just put your screw in and turn, and your head is installed. Now these screws don't need to be, they barely need to be seated actually. Dog's gonna bark, so maybe just disregard that. This thing's barely seated, and what I might do in the future is put a little bit of CA on the part, the plastic, let that cure, and then put the screw back in because that's really loose. I don't think it's gonna go anywhere. There's not much pressure on something like this because it's very small, and the plastic probably hold it in. So we're not going to worry about that for right now. So what are we doing now? So now I think we'll have to align the head with these things here. I think. I don't remember how it came apart. So we're learning this together here. So I think we're going to figure how that came apart, and we're going to put it back together the same way. So, yeah, that screw is still in there. This is still short. So this is going to go like that and come around the corner and seat into there. How's that? That looks good. It's probably fine. So now what we're going to do is we're going to shove the feathering shaft a little bit further through. Just get it, poke out the other end and hold all the parts in place. And what we're going to do is get the next set of stuff. So here you got your cone and bushing. So the bushing is going to go first, and it all fell apart on me, which is fine. And then we're going to push the screw through from the other side. And it does come through, but poking my finger, so let's see. Got to poke it through so the bushing stays in place. And you can still get the other blade grip on. So just kind of poke it through so it just about is able to retain the bushing. And that's there. Now we're going to get the other blade grip, bring it up, and hook it into the head. Kind of align that, then I'm going to push the feathering shaft through. Through the bearings. And looks like it's in place and seated. Very good. So now I'm going to push that all the way through, make sure it's completely seated. Get the screwdriver in the screw. Now the whole feathering shaft is turning, and if you turn this shaft and you hold the other end of the blade grip like this, you feel the screw, you caught the screw is now fully seated into the feathering shaft. There's no tension on it, but when you turn it like this, if anything were out of round, you would feel it here. These two fingers would feel it if you were spinning this, and the shaft would wobble and the whole thing would turn. But this is perfectly straight. I mean, we verified that on the table, but that's one way you can do it probably without taking the whole thing apart. Just get the screw in there, take one screw off, or even just take the blades out. Take one screw out, hold the assembly, and give it a spin. I bet you the whole thing would wobble if it were bent. So, we know we don't have a bent one, so we can continue putting the rest of this back together, which is quite simple, because you just got to get this little tiny eyeglass screw. I don't know if you can see this on the end of the thing. I can barely see it. And it goes in this side. And you might be off camera here for a second because I can barely see what I'm doing. But you get that back in there, and you give it a little spin, and it went in. How easy was that? All right, cool. So now you get your other screwdriver, which you're going to need two nice little sharp screwdrivers. You're going to set this one. You're going to find the screw. I think I got it. I think it's centered. Then you're going to kind of hold that. Get this one. And catch that. I think we got it all assembled. Or in line anyway. And you're going to bring that in. And that's going to bring the grips together. Now, they're going to seat. You just got to catch them. And they're going to seat. You don't want to go too far. So now I've got... Spoke too soon? They're kind of hard to find. Aha. Now once you got them, little twist. And that's probably it. Because you don't want to crank these things too much, because not that you're never going to get them off. You might strip the stupid screw. They're very, very tiny. They're little eyeglass screws. And we'll try it again from this side. Maybe we'll hold this here. And then tighten from this side. That might work better. Get a little better feel for it. Yeah, now I can feel it. It's twisting the screwdriver on the left side there. I don't know if you can see the screwdriver. But when I move this and move that, and that's probably about all of the torque you're going to need on those screws, just to seat them and hold them in place. I mean, they're not going to go anywhere. I don't think these things are going to fly apart. Who knows? Anyway, let's put the blades back on. Now, I think I got them going in the correct direction. I don't remember how the heck this thing was assembled. This is probably correct. And probably goes this way. Because let's see, the tail would push this way to correct. So that means the thing would go, right, it'll go this way. So I'm gonna say like that. No, oh, it'd go this way. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. And these here are actually Allen cap screws, which is kind of nice, and they're machine screws. But these go in, and what you're going to do is you're going to make an adjustment on these. These are adjustable. I'm sure you guys know this, but maybe you don't. These are an adjustable point on generally all helicopters, and what you do is you set the tension on the blade grip, and that's too tight. Maybe you can see how that moves. It's kind of too tight. What you want is on something this scale, like this would be good on a larger helicopter, but something like this scale, you want it to move pretty freely with just a little bit of resistance. And when I say a little bit, I mean a little bit. You want this blade to be able to move on its own, and I guess inertia, you want to call it. You want it to find a natural spot and not be too loose and not be too tight. And it came pretty loose out of the factory, so that leads me to believe that, you know, loose is proper for something this small. See, that's a little tight. And we're talking like, you know, very, very fine increments. That's pretty good. It kind of swings around a little bit, yet it's still solid in the grip. I'm going to do the same with the other. I'm going to make it equal to that one. And this may not fly. I mean, I'm pretty sure I got it together, but who knows? Maybe I did something wrong, but it looks like it should. Let's take a look. We'll give it a little test hop on the in the kitchen here. That'll be fun. That's too tight. That's pretty good. And you get a feel for it. You just don't want it tight in the grip. That's tight. Talking 1/16 of a turn here. You know, 1/8 of a turn? Half that. It's a fine line. Very fine line. We're going to go with that being okay. All right, so let's cap this. Let's get this battery back in here and just give it a quick test hop to make sure that we didn't totally screw something up. Should be all right. This is a nice little helicopter. I was just really realized I bought this thing, and we're going to find out how long the brushed motors last. I always knew that was going to be a problem with some of these smaller helicopters and quads and all that, but well, let's see. We'll give it a shot. I mean, I like the way it flies. It flies good, and it's nice and stable. Let's see. I don't know if you could see this. Should be able to. Hello. That'll be the idle up. We don't want that. We'll just fly it with the regular mode, stabilized and what do you call it? Stabilized and regular throttle. So immediately we could see we've actually gone correct with the blades and all that. Everything looks to be spinning straight. And I say, oh yeah, it does that for whatever reason. Why is the tail really not responding? That's weird. Oh, there we go. So we got it. It's doing this thing. This is flying in stabilized mode. Let's bring it in. All right, that's it. That's kind of what I wanted to show you. And if you look at the top, you know, that thing's spinning pretty straight. Just, you know, it's plastic parts. I don't know how much precision you're gonna get with something like this, but it flies properly. It actually hovers stably. We verified that the shafts are straight, and we showed you how to take or at least put the head back together and assemble it properly. So what is this? That is, oh, it's a little bit of oil that scooted out. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful to somebody. These motors have a tendency to go bad after some time since they're brushed and they wear. But if I come across that, maybe I'll make a video of replacing that. And I'm doing this for the first time, so you know, you came along for the ride for it, and I appreciate it if you got this far. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.